Debates over universal healthcare and a higher minimum wage are traditionally defined by a tug-of-war between empathy for the working class and the cold efficiency of the free market. United States healthcare system, specifically focusing on the sheer volume of capital flowing into the administrative and insurance side of the industry. On a per capita basis, the inputs into the system are massive. The average American spends roughly $8,000 a year on healthcare, a figure that includes everything from private insurance premiums to out-of-pocket expenses and tax-funded programs. However, the outputs tell a different story. When we add peer nations like France and Norway, we see they spend significantly less per person, while consistently outperforming the US in life expectancy and infant mortality outcomes. From a strictly managerial perspective, this persistent gap between high spending and lower performance represents a system failing its audit. An auditor looking for the most efficient structural overhaul would find their search ending on the centralized models typically found in progressive platforms. Applying strict return on investment metrics flips the traditional political script. In this context, the pursuit of capitalist efficiency becomes a primary driver for adopting social policies. This shift relies on the free market principle of creative destruction. Old, inefficient systems must be allowed to fail so that more productive innovations replace them. The U.S. medical billing and insurance sector currently acts as the country's largest employer, surpassing even retail, with over 17 million workers. A common free market defense for the private system is that moving to universal healthcare would trigger massive job losses for these insurance administrators and billing clerks. But the creative destruction test rejects that logic. Protecting obsolete administrative jobs solely to prevent unemployment is a protectionist mindset that stands in direct opposition to market growth. True economic efficiency requires cutting administrative bloat without sentimentality, even when it disrupts an entire labor sector. We can apply the same audit to the production of skilled labor, specifically the massive financial inputs required to train a professional, like a neurosurgeon. In the American model, doctors often enter the workforce with student loan debts reaching 7 figures. To break even, these professionals must demand astronomically high salaries, driving up the cost of healthcare for everyone else. The Australian higher education system offers a structural alternative designed to prevent this specific labor bottleneck. Australia uses a program called HEX, where student loans are income contingent. Repayment is delayed until the graduate earns over a set threshold, around $52,000, ensuring that debt does not crush the early stages of a professional career. Norway goes further with completely free college. This acts as a system-wide cost reduction, allowing professional salaries to remain closer to the national average, without sacrificing the quality of life for the worker. Removing educational debt serves as a structural mechanism to lower the baseline cost of essential services across the entire economy. Growth depends on the marginal propensity to consume. High-income earners have a 0% MPC. Extra dollars stall in savings, exiting the economy. Minimum wage workers have a 100% MPC, immediately spending on groceries, splintering dollars into active local business nodes. This high velocity of capital triggers the multiplier effect. A grocery store uses that revenue to pay staff, who in turn spend their wages at other local shops, creating a continuous cycle of growth. Raising the minimum wage acts as a calculated strategy to keep the gears of the capitalist machine spinning at a higher velocity. Economic extremes are rarely efficient. Look at Venezuela, where failing to invest natural wealth into infrastructure led to a total collapse of state control. The opposite extreme, unregulated anarcho-capitalism with zero safety nets, is equally volatile, leading to market frenzies that destabilize the wider economy. The most successful modern economies operate in a pragmatic center, rejecting ideological labels in favor of whatever model produces the best mathematical ROI. We looked at 3 specific mechanisms: cutting administrative bloat, eliminating debt bottlenecks for skilled labor, and accelerating capital velocity through wages. Through the lens of pure mathematics, universal healthcare, free education, and higher minimum wages serve as the economic lubricants required to optimize the capitalist machine.